Hello my friends, welcome back. So let's quickly get to this. This is gonna be part 2 according before the agenda. This YouTube channel I recommend, it's my personal YouTube channel. Please go and look for it. And secondly, all the videos I'm making right now, they are straight going to the YouTube licensing tips channel. They are short, simple, straight to the point. You can watch them uninterrupted. So according to our agenda, we are done with part 1 of routing system, where we looked at ASP.NET Core Web API. Now this time we're going to look at the same routing system but in .NET Maui. How does a mobile application, Android or iOS, know exactly what to talk to when it comes to the back end or web API? So for that, let's read something very it's very interesting for me. So this one says routing is responsible for matching incoming HTTP requests and dispatching those requests to the app's executable endpoint. So with that being said, previously in part 1 we looked at the routing system in ASP.NET Core Web API, but also understanding a little bit of how does the MVC do its own routing. So just to recap, for MVC, it's internally yet publicly accessible. But for Web API, it is internally yet privately accessible. That's a keyword, privately. So how does the mobile application know? How does it web application know? How does the software application know? How does the IoT device know that this is the back end? This is the address to it. Good. So I have the app running. There we go. We're gonna look at the suggestions like we did in our previous video. So quickly, we're gonna go to so the page. Let me walk you through the page that you're about to see, which is this one. If we go to suggestions, right, it's loading. It know where it went. But if I start to say add, I'm interested in this one, right? I'm about to say let's see, new suggestion, right? This one is from Dumi Pladi, right? And the target audience is for driver's license users and suggested by, let's just say, Jonas, right? Before I hit submit, that's the question. How does this mobile application know where to submit this data? How does it know? That's the routing. That's where it comes in. So quickly, now if we look at the page, right, this is the page, add suggestion. So we know that this is the page, not that one, this one, right? So the view model that helps this page to be functional is this one, add. And then this one has the service that I want us to go to. And the service, what it does, let's go to tips, suggestions, has post one. So the post one, after we have gotten out of this form, you see this data, this one, it's gonna be now part of the model, right? And then we're gonna go and serialize the object, and get the content type. But this is what I'm interested in. We are using HTTP client. I'll make a video about it. How does the service talk to the back end some other time? So what we are saying, post async, it expects a string URI and the content. So this is the URI, right? From here all the way there, right? But look at it. It says web API URL. So it knows where to point to. And remember I said this is protected, right? It's protected. The endpoint, the incoming endpoint on the web API, it's protected. Even though you cannot publicly access Swagger right now in production, but you can get to it by saying, listen, I have incoming request. I want to talk to this endpoint that is responsible in submitting data to the database regarding suggestions. It's there, but how does it know? So we have the URL, and then we have this guy, which is a web API routes. Based on part 1, let's go quickly to API, and then contract for V1 this guy. You see this class? API route v1, but in .NET Maui, I've renamed it to be Web API route for v1. Because remember, Web API, aka backend, aka web service, aka RESTful service, right? It's a type of application that's versioned. You need to know, are we talking about version 1 of this particular endpoint, or version 2 or version 100? So mobile application has to play catch up also. Good. So now this guy, let's go to it. As soon as I go to my utilities, where am I? Utilities, I will find Web API URL where we're done with that, version 1, this guy. So this guy has the same base as of Web API, has the same versioning, and this guy has all about the suggestions. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open the one of Web API, this guy, and then the one of mobile, I'm gonna leave it on the right. So let's do side-by-side comparison. There we go. So on the left, it's Web API routing. On the right, it's mobile application routing. They are literally identical, right? Because what we're talking about right now is suggestions, right? And the mobile application has to match those suggestions, right? To get one, but it's different because remember, for Web API, we are saying if you want to get all suggestions for a particular user, I'll show that we need to know who the user is. But when it comes to getting all suggestions, we just say, listen, I'm just going to give you that slash, you tell me who it is. Do you understand? And whatever the value after this slash, it's going to be mapped to that user ID. Does it make sense? So that's how it knows. So right now, as soon as I hit submit, boom, and then simultaneously it called that endpoint, of which is to get all suggestions, because any user can get that suggestions or those suggestions. Does it make sense? So here it is. Right now, if I tap on it, I'm getting a specific one, of which what happened is get one suggestion. Let me make sure based on the route, the service, or we are getting one specific get all for the user where we want to do the voting. So this is the likes, edit one. Yes, it has to do with this one. Wait, first let's go and make sure, because I want to give you something that makes sense. Suggestion info, right? It's still pointing to the service, but what I'm looking for is a specific check likes and check dislikes. Yes, show info. So what it does is gonna hit this guy to get one like and then get one suggestion. So what it does, it gets a specific one, and then it's gonna check if we can now like or dislike, right? So get one like suggestion and get one. The reason being is because you find that I've already liked it. For example, if I click like, there we go, it's gonna increment 0 to 1. If I get inside again, you see, it knows that I've already liked it. So that's the correct endpoint. Listen, I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand per session. Here we were exploring how the routing system works from ASP.NET Core, Web API, and how does the mobile application know where to go to and who to talk to. And also, the most important thing you should know that those endpoints on the Web API, they are protected. The resources, therefore, are protected. It's very important. I can teach you all of this for 25 Rand per session. That session is a full hour where you get to ask me anything regarding how I built this fully integrated system, right? From database, web application, MVC, or web API, all the way to this application. Remember, this application is already been deployed into production, right? I'm showing you what to expect. That will be 25 Rand per session for an hour. Until next time, thank you.